All right, welcome. Today is an exciting day. So what we're going to do is we are going to begin rendering. So rendering, Nathaniel, if I can have you take your seat, please. Josh, if I can have you pay attention, so I have to repeat the whole thing to you over and over again. Thank you. So what we're going to do is work on rendering all this week. And rendering is where CAD is actually going to take what we've created and make surprisingly very photorealistic images of our objects. So there's a few things that we're going to do. First of all, I like to kind of look at things in some kind of isometric view, only because in real life it's rare we actually take a picture of something straight on. You know, if you're going to take a picture of a table, you take a picture of it as an angle as opposed to, you know, a top, left, right view, something like that. So I'm here in my isometric viewport. And the first thing we want to do is want to make sure that we're in a perspective view. So there's two flavors of views in isometric, parallel and perspective. And when we've done our isometric drawings in the past, like when we drew our cube, they looked 3D, everything looked fine to us, but in reality, as objects get further away from us, they, we'll call it, get smaller. So you know, you imagine like a road going off in the sunset. As you're standing on the road, it's obviously very wide, but as it gets further away, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower till it comes together at the horizon. So it's the same thing. CAD does that as well, and it's called perspective. And the easiest way to make sure that we are set to perspective or to set in perspective is we just right-click on our viewport. And you'll notice here we have parallel and perspective. So when we go to render, the first step we want to do is make sure that we are in perspective mode of what we're going to do. So that's our first setting. Second setting is we are going to set our what they call lighting units. So command there, lighting units. And we just want this set to either 1 or 2. So I'm setting mine to 1. The main thing is you just want it set to 0. So the commands are 0, 1, or 2. And this has something to do with lumens and things and how light is calculated in CAD. Then the next one we're going to do is sun status. Yep, sun status. So first one is lighting units. Next one is sun status. And we have 0 for off or 1 for on. And this is going to turn on our sun. So this is going to give us more natural lighting. Next one is sky status. And the settings for this are either 0, 1, or 2. Which you can tell CAD is very kind of binary. But 0 is sky is off. 1 is sky is on, and 2 is sky reflection or sky. Oh yeah, 2 is sky lighting, and 3 is I don't know, something like that. Anyway, we always set this to 2. And now you're should get more of kind of a grayish or blue background. At this point, if you orbit, now that we've turned on our sky, you'll notice as I orbit around, we can actually kind of see the sky there in the background. And if you orbit around, at some point, you'd actually even see like a sun somewhere. Ah, there's my sun. Oh. There you go. So you can see here is my sun, and the sun is what's going to be used to cast all of my shadows. So if I go to a realistic.
Wait, how do you find your sun? Do you have to be? Oh, I found it.
It's a little tricky to find, but
You can't find your subs. Okay.
yeah, that's fine. As long as you have your sky status set to 3, your sun should be there. Or 2, sorry. Sky status 2. It's the third setting, 0, 1, or 2. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, in the past, when we have played with different objects, we moved them to different layers, or maybe we applied hatches if we wanted to represent concrete or brick or something like that. But when working with 3D rendering, what we do is actually add materials to objects. So the command for that is materials. And when you click on that, a window will pop up. I want to make this kind of big so we can all see it here. And you can see there's this big, huge, extremely large list of materials.
Why doesn't have that list?
Really?
It just has the 3 I used last time. Oh yeah, it doesn't have that.
If you click on Home here,
Yeah.
and then Autodesk Library.
I have. Okay, there.
Okay. So you have all these materials, and then it's such a huge list. Obviously, it's hard to navigate, so there's a search box up here. So I'm going to make my table out of wood. So I'll type in wood.
It's not letting us type in the search box.
It's going.
So you're having that problem.
I'm having that same issue.
There is no wood. It's materials. No, I mean like materials search box.
I don't know what's going on, but whenever you go to type something in the search box, it's typing in the command box
Yeah.
as well. So here's what I'm going to do, which is a really ridiculous idea, but
It's like 5, 6, 7.
wow.
It's so disgusting. Whenever they take all their it just.
No, did you just scroll?
Yeah, well, no. Go. I don't know about this.
Wow, that's annoying. All right, well, scrolling through your list here, we'll have to figure out what's up with that layer in a moment. But if you scroll by type here, there's probably a whole section here for wood at the bottom. There we go. So I've just sorted by by type, and you can see there's all these different kinds of wood here. So I'm going to go with a nice American cherry here. Let's see if I can dock this here. All right, so you click, select your object, and then double click on the type of material that you want to use. Oops, I want to do my table, not my desk here. So, polish. Oh, here it goes. I'll look good.
Click on this. Change color. Change texture.
And then looking at, I'm going to make my vase out of glass.
Good thing you had Mr. Brenner, I literally. Can we buy a new computer? Because this one doesn't work.
It's already obsolete.
Oh my god.
Okay. So I'm done with my two materials here.
What kind of vase is that? It looks like a desk.
I'm going to market this. I think it's an amazing design. Alright. I'll zoom in a little bit. So here's my really cool red glass vase and I did kind of a glossy wood here, we'll see, or American, some kind of wood. Okay, now using your orbit command, that's usually the best command to kind of set up your shot of how you want to take a picture of it. And then with nothing selected, you go over your properties inspector and scroll all the way to the bottom. And you'll notice you have a render option. Are you getting all this, Nathaniel? So at the bottom here, we have our render option. We're going to click on this little thing here. It displays advanced settings. And then for render shadow detail, we're going to change this to samples to 128 and then softness to 10. This gives us kind of nice soft shadows. I like it. I will not repeat myself. Apparently it is. Alright, so first I'm just going to do a low pass render here. So I have this set to low, and this is just going to do a nice quick render just so I can see how I like my shot. So the command is just render. So, see my vase, see my table, see all my shadows. It all looks pretty good. It's also worth noting that a lot of the commands that we did are on our toolbar here. You just need to click the Show 3D Status Bar. So here we can verify we've got background illumination. Sometimes with CAD, this happens a lot with CAD, is you set settings and they don't really stick or work right for some reason. So I find turning them off and back on again seems to help. So I'm going to turn off my default lighting. That should help a bit. This is set to American. Okay, everything else looks good. All right, so I like this. I'm now going to do a final render, which I will do on medium.
Why not high?
Just has to do with time.
Yeah, that's how mine's been too.
So it first.
Is presentation higher than time? I mean, higher than time.
It is, but you'll find virtually no difference between high and presentation.
Okay, Brenner, my computer froze when I changed the view from one side of the cube to the other side. And like it's my computer. Like
Okay.
not
Alright.
the entire computer's done. It needs to go in the trash.
Command Option Escape.
Look how pretty that is.
Also, my computer thinks glass stays black.
So the rendering does multiple passes. Each pass is getting a higher and higher detail resolution. So there we go. We can see my vase here made of glass, so I can slightly see it here. I've got my wooden table. All my lighting and shadows look pretty good. kind of expect my shadows to be a little softer than they are. I'm not sure exactly why that didn't stick, but maybe a higher resolution would work better. So just play along, play around with this, try different angles, different views, different materials.
Resolution.
What's that?
Yours is kind of low.
Yeah, I did 640 by 480, but you can certainly do higher resolutions. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to sit there and wait,
What's the native resolution of this?
like watching grass grow,
1680 by 1440, I think, right?
something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try one at that.
Okay, so once your render is done, I actually want you to submit your renderings. And so what you need to do is hit save. Surprisingly, at this point, even though my rendering is done, AutoCAD has not saved it. So if I exit this, I would lose my rendering forever. So you got to hit save down here. And then save as. So call it face. And then you pick what you want to save it as. So either JPEG or PNG. PNG is probably my favorite file format, but JPEG is a close second. So yeah, we all have our favorite file formats, don't we?
Probably get a better grade.
It's kind of a geeky thing to say, isn't it?
Use your favorite. Probably get a better grade.
Yeah, you would. You would. So I'll save mine as a JPEG. I'm just saving it to my desktop here so I can find it. And then for quality here, best or slightly off. It's good enough. And if I go to my desktop, here is my VIX.
All right. Whenever I put.
So that's the file you submit.
Computer is gonna break that.
So again, make sure that you're in. You need to know the difference between parallel and perspective views. That'll be on the quiz this week.
Like, if they can't do
Lighting units set to either 1 or 2. Sun status turned on. Sky status set to 2, which is show the sky and the illumination of the sky. You'll use your orbit, set up your shot, zoom in, zoom out, set up your shadow. I like nice soft shadows, so set those to 10. Do a sample render at draft. If you like it, do a final render. Save and submit. And you're done.